All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the absolute explosion of generative media and contrasting it with the rather sobering reality of building defensible tech businesses. We're living in this wild moment right now where technology is advancing so fast, it honestly feels like magic. But as we're going to see, relying on that magic alone, well, that's a surefire way to get your startup completely crushed.
So, here's our roadmap for today. First, the generative media shift. Second, AI avatars at scale. Third, the power of haptics. Fourth, beware the AI wrapper. And finally, building true business moats. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The generative media shift.
Let's start with the seismic transformation happening right this second in how we consume and create media. The rules of the game? They're being entirely rewritten. We're witnessing this unprecedented compression of the idea-to-scale cycle. Historically, having a great idea meant months, sometimes years of coding, production, and execution. Today, that window has practically vanished. We're moving toward what experts in Google's Future of AI report are calling vibe design. You no longer need to be a coder or professional video editor to bring a vision to life. Basically, if you can describe it, if you can feel it, you can build it. Now, this totally democratizes creativity. It means a solo entrepreneur can run a global photo shoot right from their laptop. But on the flip side, it means the barrier to entry has completely collapsed.
Investor Grace Isford makes a really fascinating point here. The very way we input and receive information is fundamentally changing. We're so used to our keyboards and mice, right? But the top investors in this space are already looking way past that. We are heading headfirst into a post-keyboard world, where the friction between human thought and digital output essentially drops to zero. Imagine interfaces that just intuit your thoughts. Crazy, right?
And building on that whole idea, dynamic video is completely poised to replace static text documents in the workplace. Victor Ribabelli hits the nail on the head here with a simple truth. Humans just prefer visual content. Right now, office communication is still mostly slides and docs, just because they're cheap to make. But as the marginal cost of creating high-quality video content drops to literally zero, those dry 45-page slide decks, they're going to be replaced by highly customized 45-second generative videos.
Section 2. AI avatars at scale. Let's look at how this builds into real-world applications with hyper-realistic AI avatars. And listen, this isn't science fiction anymore. This is actual enterprise reality. We are witnessing a massive arms race in AI video right now. You've got heavyweights like HeyGen and Synthesia completely transforming corporate communications. Just look at the scale here. HeyGen is supporting over 70 languages, and Synthesia is pushing past 160. And we aren't just talking about passive video generation either. Synthesia is rolling out two-way interactive video agents, while HeyGen is getting deeply embedded into marketing pipelines via Zapier automations. The whole ecosystem is leveling up.
These platforms aren't just churning out stiff talking heads anymore. They're creating interactive digital clones that hook up directly to your business knowledge bases. Take Synthesia's Express 2 avatars, for instance. They use advanced diffusion transformers, which is a fancy way of saying they don't just move their lips. They wave, they point, they use perfectly contextual body gestures. And the friction to create these plummeted. You can now generate a highly personal avatar from just a single uploaded image. Couple that with AI dubbing, and you can suddenly speak 80 languages with frame-accurate lip sync, all while keeping your exact natural voice. And this evolution into video agents, it means your avatar can literally pause, listen to a customer's specific question, and respond dynamically based on your proprietary data. It's wild.
Section 3. The power of haptics.
Now, the user experience isn't just about sight and sound anymore. If we want total immersion, we absolutely have to talk about touch. Haptic feedback has evolved dramatically. It's that invisible layer of an app that users just feel without even thinking about it. And trust me, they notice immediately when it's gone. We've shifted away from those cheap, imprecise vibrations. Think of that annoying generic buzz your early smartphone used to make. We've moved from that to incredibly precise LRA motors. These new actuators give you millisecond-level precision. They create distinct taps, clicks, and sustained rumbles that make digital interactions feel, physical. When you tap a flat glass screen and it actually feels like a real mechanical click, that's LRA technology completely tricking your brain. So, why does this matter to your bottom line? Look at this metric right here. A 2025 study in the Journal of Consumer Research proved that pairing haptic feedback with e-commerce add-to-cart actions drives a massive 32% increase in items added. Let that sink in. 32%. It actually triggers a reward response in the brain. The physical vibration makes the act of adding an item intrinsically satisfying. So the takeaway here is you aren't just designing for the eyes anymore. You are literally designing for the hands.
Section 4. Beware the AI wrapper.
Okay, now that we've hyped up these incredible APIs and tools, it's time for a pretty harsh reality check. If anyone can easily plug into these amazing APIs, how on earth do you survive and build a defensible business? This right here is the pivot. We've established the tech is basically miraculous. But if your product is just a well-formatted API call to OpenAI or Anthropic or Synthesia, models that literally everyone else in the world also has access to, your entire business model is sitting on very thin ice. You're building a luxury hotel on rented land. Relying solely on external models means you don't control the intelligence layer. The team at Accelerator tells this truly terrifying story of a founder with a B2B SaaS product generating $1.2 million in annual recurring revenue. They thought they had it made, right? But overnight, OpenAI changed its pricing structure for their specific use case, and boom, their profit margin completely evaporated. If you don't own the poor engine, the landlord can double your rent tomorrow.
And yet, founders keep falling for these 3 fake moats, mistaking temporary little advantages for true business defensibility. First off, they think they have a better prompts moat. But let's be real, prompts aren't proprietary. They're literally just text strings that a motivated competitor can reverse engineer in 48 hours. Second, the nice UI moat. Sure, a beautiful interface is great, we all love it, but users will absolutely tolerate an ugly interface if a competitor offers the exact same AI output for 70% less money. And finally, the first mover moat. Being the first AI for dentists means absolutely nothing when switching costs are zero, and copycats can clone your core functionality in a matter of weeks. This timeline maps out the brutal 18-month commoditization timeline that awaits these thin AI wrappers. In the first 6 months, you're in the honeymoon phase. Everyone's happy, early adopters are paying premium prices, but by month 12, the cloning begins. 50 competitors launch identical products, dragging prices down into the dirt. Then comes the platform assault. OpenAI or Google looks at your market and simply adds your core feature natively right into their base models. And by month 18, you are in a ruthless price war, competing purely on margin until there's nothing left. And frankly, this timeline is only speeding up. What took 18 months last year might take just 12 months today.
Section 5. Building true business moats. So, the million-dollar question: how do we escape this trap? How do we take these incredible generative tools and build a truly sustainable engine? Well, true defensibility requires evolving your startup through these 3 critical layers. It's perfectly fine to start at layer 1 as an AI wrapper just to find your product market fit. But you must quickly sprint to layer 2, capturing proprietary data that cannot be scraped from the web. I'm talking about unique user interaction data, proprietary feedback loops, behavioral patterns. Finally, you have to reach layer 3, network effects. This is where your data becomes an absolutely insurmountable advantage. The ultimate litmus test is this: does your 10,000th user get vastly more value than your 10th user because of the data the community has generated? If the answer is yes, congratulations, you have a real moat. To actually survive the inevitable price wars, you have to create deep lock-ins. Switching costs needs to be simply too high for your customers to ever leave for a cheaper alternative. How do you do that? Through deep workflow integration. You become an invisible, essential part of their daily Slack or CRM routines rather than a separate destination app they have to remember to visit. You store their historical data and fine-tune models specifically to their writing styles or company knowledge bases, making it incredibly painful for them to ever migrate away. And most importantly, you drive team adoption. Think about it. An individual user will cancel a subscription on a whim just to save $10, right? But ripping a deeply integrated tool out of the hands of an entire sales or operations team, that requires massive organizational friction. People just won't do it. The generative media shift offers us unprecedented, frankly mind-blowing tools to build the future. But your job is to architect real, lasting defensibility from day one. So I'll leave you with this final, crucial question to challenge how you approach your tech moving forward. Are you building a feature, or are you building a company? Thanks for tuning in to This Explainer.